I love me some feminine Gothic. I love when like the ghost isn't the problem, the husband is. Today I want to talk about Gothic fiction because your girl's obsessed. Okay, I'm like real obsessed recently. One of the things that you all know that I'm trying to get to the bottom of at this point in life is, why do I love horror? Why do I love being scared shitless? Why do I love dark, creepy shit? Like, what is wrong with me? And so that is where Hot Girl Horror 101 comes in, because I want to look into these things. I want to learn. I want to become a person who can read horror, watch horror, and understand why it is this is like hitting so differently than other genres. Like, I want to understand what the fuck is wrong with me, basically. And so that is how this whole series was born. So you're welcome. Or maybe you hate it. I don't know, guys. I'm new here, okay? In the series, I want us to learn about horror together. I want to do deep dives into genres and subgenres and tropes and all that shit, right? I want to talk about that. And I think the beauty for me of why I love horror is there is so much to look at through a feminine lens. And I think there's a reason so much shit is really scary and really entertaining to women. Horror is comfortable to me. Horror is comforting. Horror is nostalgic. I love it. I'm here for it. It's really all I think about. The point of this series is I want horror to feel approachable, because I think there are a lot of areas in horror subculture that is I think there are a lot of areas and communities within horror that can feel a little bit gatekeepy, right? Like, if you don't like, I'm going to be honest, I haven't read a single Stephen King book, okay? I still can be a horror enjoyer. And so I want to just do deep dives into horror. I want to yap about horror books I'm reading. I want to talk about all the crazy shit and make it feel like a place where like, you don't know anything about it. Cool. Neither did I before I made this video. That's like really the whole goal for me of this series. Anyways, today I want to talk about Gothic lit because right now I'm obsessed. Like, I'm a mood reader through and through, and like, it's all I can really think about. The TBR that I have of Gothic horror books I want to read is honestly stressing me out, which is so silly because this is a fun hobby, but I'm like, I want to consume it all. Obviously I can't do that. So I wanted to talk a little bit about like why it is that I love Gothic fiction. And I think it's why women in general love Gothic fiction, because it's like, why are women obsessed with Gothic anything? Like, why are we feral for Frankenstein? Like, make it make sense. I don't understand. I couldn't explain it to myself. So like, after looking into things a little bit, I think that there's kind of two different types of Gothic fiction. There might be more, right? I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just making this shit up as I go. But for me, there's like traditional Gothic, which is like the OGs, the like founding fathers of the genre. And then there is like feminine Gothic. And I see those like coming into fruition through like just the evolution of history and the roles of women in history. I think like you look at traditional Gothic and it's like the key ingredients of Gothic fiction, right? We've got like decaying, isolated castles, supernatural stuff like ghosts and haunted houses and people being haunted and possessed and things like that. The fog, right? Like, we can picture the atmosphere. Like, I'm sure we all have like this Gothic happy place in our heads that we picture when we're imagining something Gothic. For me, it's all of the stunning vintage Gothic horror novels. Like those covers, I don't even know what era of books that was, but like, my God, the covers are stunning. That's what I picture in my head. The woman in the flowy dress running through the graveyard, or like through escaping the mists on the cliffside. I don't know. That's what I picture. The other thing about traditional Gothic is like, there are often women characters, but they're side characters. They are not the main character. They're kind of victims. Like, they need to be saved, right? And like, when you look at the origins of Gothic fiction, like the earliest Gothic fiction, it's written by men, is in the 1700s. Like, we know life for women probably not the best in the 1700s. So like, it makes sense why it is the way that it is. And then I think as like women started to like realize things and started having like these personal epiphanies, female authors also started to like showcase that. And I think even traditional Gothic fiction, I think, was like hitting for women, because they're like, wait, like, I feel this, like, I understand the haunted house, but then it's like seen as oppressive. Like, one that comes to mind, and it's on one of the lists, I'm getting ahead of myself, but like Carmilla felt homophobic as fuck when I read it. Like, the first time I read Carmilla, I was like, this author is not like pro lesbians. I read it and I was like, I don't know, like, I took it differently. Like, for me, their whole vibe, their whole lesbian vampire vibe, I'm like, go for it. Okay. Like, lean into that, girl. You sound like you need that. But the author, it was written, it felt like as a warning, like, watch your women, men, make sure they're not getting too close to their girlfriends. Like, so I think that society changes, and so like fiction changes with it. Again, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just doing my best. Okay. I'm just doing my best to understand what the fuck is wrong with me. Okay. That's kind of traditional Gothic. Like, women are victims. It's very basic, like external threats. Everything's external. It's like haunted houses, family curses, old shit too. They're obsessed with old shit. You can't escape the past. And then like also there's often a supernatural like maybe element. So then I think when we look at feminine Gothic, it's like similar things, right? There's still a haunted house, but like now it's a metaphor. So it's like instead of it just being a haunted house, it's a haunted house that represents her like suffocating marriage or like medical dismissal, like not being listened to, not being believed, being dismissed as being like hysterical. It just means something different. So it's the same stuff, it's the same ingredients with the added layer of the feminine perspective. And I think my favorite part when you look at traditional versus feminine Gothic is when you're reading feminine Gothic, it's from inside of the woman. Like you are able to put yourself in the shoes of the character who's telling the story. You can understand her frustration. You can understand why she feels like she's going crazy. Whereas like again in traditional Gothic, the female characters are like, well, the women are just side characters. We don't know their perspective. They're just a part of the plot. Like I said, an NPC. For those of you that are gamers, they are NPCs. It's all internal. So it's like those external threats versus the internalized like feminine through the lens of like the female character. And I fuck with that hard. Okay. I want the rage. I want to be pissed at the fucking dude who's holding you back. I want to know how you feel. I love that shit. I eat it up. Okay. I eat it up like a sleeve of Ritz crackers. Okay. I love me some feminine Gothic. I love when like the ghost isn't the problem, the husband is, because it's always the husband. But yeah, I think it's like external, internal, key differences. Like often a lot of metaphors, like the hauntings are metaphors, whereas like over here with traditional, the hauntings are hauntings. It is what it is. So those are kind of like the key things. And I think again, like when we talk about the way that women are portrayed, I really do think that the women are like, they go from being the victim to like being the main character. I also love that a lot of times women in feminine Gothic books are like experiencing an awakening and often get their revenge. They like them going mad is actually them like releasing themselves from like the roles that society or like the man. The biggest man haters are always the ones with like the nicest husbands. My husband's a doll. Make it make sense. But yeah, so I think those are like the key differences. I don't want to just yap and keep saying the same shit over and over. I think another note that I jotted down was traditional Gothic asks what haunts the house, feminine Gothic asks what haunts the woman. Okay, that basically explains the difference. I'm looking at my notes because literally I just went totally rogue from the notes that I jotted down, which is amazing. Good for me. But want to hammer in on some of the things that I did write down that I thought were important. So why feminine Gothic emerged? Just evolution of society. Women are starting to actually have these very real experiences. And I do want to just read the list that I wrote down because like women wanted horror about their real monsters, the things they were already experiencing. So marriage being a trap, medical dismissal, domestic expectations, emotional confinement, identity erosion. We talked about these. These are the key themes we talked about in episode 1. But yeah, so that's kind of the differences there. I know you're all just here for the book recommendations, so let's dive into that. I have only personally read a few traditional Gothic works, and the main reason for that is I struggle with old prose. I really do. Like I loved Frankenstein. I think Frankenstein is one of my favorite books of all time, low-key. I read it for the first time this year, but it was a beautiful book. I really enjoyed it. So I do want to deep dive a little bit more into some of the traditional books. So these are some of the ones that have kind of caught my attention. If I can't fully explain what they're about, that's because I haven't fucking read them. This is my YouTube video, okay? Starting with The Castle of Otranto by Horace Walpole. This is arguably the first Gothic book ever written. If you look up like, what should I read if I'm trying to learn more about Gothic books, this will be on the list. I do understand the main premise of this book. I have not read it. I probably will. We've got curses, chaos, and the collapse of the patriarchs of the family. Low-key kind of love that. Old shit. Next I have Turn to the Screw by Henry James. I'm actually very eager to read this one because it is about a governess who is like in charge of taking care of these children. She believes the children are haunted. Are they haunted or is she insane? Ghost or mental breakdown? I do not know. We shall find out. Next is The Vampire by John William Polidori. We have talked about this one. It was written at the same time as Frankenstein. It's really about an aristocratic vampire who's just like rolling about, ruining people's lives. Classic. I think it's like one of the first of this type of vampire. I might be wrong, but I think that's what I read. Kind of the origin of what we think a vampire is. Then we have Carmilla, which I've already touched on. Again, I think Carmilla, I personally think this book was homophobic at the time it was written. I think it was a warning. Be careful. Your wife might be a lesbian. She might leave you for a sexy vampire lady. I do still enjoy this book, and I do think it is something that we can like take back a little bit. I enjoyed it. Also, it's really cool that the first kind of like female vampire archetype kind of comes from this book. So I love lesbian vampires. There's a lot of lesbian vampire books now, and I'm a big fan. The last one I have for traditional Gothic is Dracula by Bram Stoker. This is on my 10 before the end. I don't know if I'll actually get to it. It is quite lengthy, but I really want to read it. And I basically know the story of Dracula, right? I feel like we've all heard it in a similar vein to like we've all heard of Frankenstein, but maybe didn't fully understand the full concept of the story. This one is written in journal entries and letters is how the story is told. A group of friends is basically trying to figure out what the fuck's going on with this Dracula dude and why is he like flexing his muscles all over England, okay? So that's kind of what this book is about. I don't know. Dracula. So now I want to move into feminine Gothic, and I will admit there are going to be some books on this list where you're like, Eden, that's not a fucking Gothic book. Yes, it is. You hear me out before you judge, okay? There's a good mix of classic and modern on here. I wanted to make sure we had something for everybody. And so I want to start with The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. It was fantastic. It is free online. You can find it for free. It's about a woman who is ill and her husband / doctor believes that she just needs the rest cure. So he holds her up in, I don't know, manor in the middle of fucking nowhere where she knows nobody, won't let her really leave. She can like kind of wander the grounds, and puts her in a room with this hideous yellow wallpaper. And she starts to lose her mind because of like the lack of autonomy. Crazy book. Basically the original gaslighting husband. But the ending, chef's kiss. Next, you guys are probably sick of me adding this to any list that I can. That's too bad, okay? The Hacienda is Gothic as fuck. This book is fantastic. It is definitely that like internal feminine perspective. It's about a woman who marries the wrong man, but like, I don't know, society tells her it's the right thing to do. He moves her out to an isolated home where she doesn't know anyone. He's often gone for work and the house hates her. So Gothic. Another one you guys are probably sick of hearing about. I don't care. I'm ride or die for this book. I will talk about it till someone literally puts me down. No, that's not what I meant to say. Anyways, this book is fantastic. This book is feral Carmilla retelling. We've got lesbian vampires, but in this one, it's like the version of Carmilla that was meant to be written because it truly is feminist. Okay, it's not like a homophobic book. We're rooting for the downfall of this woman's husband. We are rooting for that. I think about this book daily. I'm not gonna lie. All right, the next one. You're gonna be like, Eden, this is so traditional. This is like the traditional Gothic book. Listen, hear me out. Yes, the story is told from two men's perspectives. Again, written by a woman. And let's really think about what this book is about. This book is about a man who has the biggest ego and all the shit he gets into when women aren't around. Fucking creates life and then abandons it immediately. Like, nothing makes me more ill than thinking about Victor Frankenstein. I fucking hate Victor Frankenstein. Although I did see a meme online that said, nothing makes me happier than knowing that Victor Frankenstein, if he were real, would be so mad that a lot of people think Frankenstein is the monster. Because how fucking true is that? Like, I'm so petty. He's not even real. And I'm like, that bitch would be so mad. Anyways, to the point, Eden, get to the point. This book is traditional. Yes, it is like a lot of our favorite traditional things come from this book. It is very, very traditional. It is told from the perspective of men, but however, it is not even sprinkled. It is drenched in feminine perspective. If you really think about what's going on in this book. And I think that the creature is a little bit a metaphor for like what it is like to be a woman. Okay, here I am with another unhinged recommendation on my Gothic books list. Come Closer by Sarah Gran. I know what you're thinking. Eden, that's a possession story. That is told in like contemporary modern, I don't know, is it in New York? I can't even remember. It's been a minute. Is it a possession or is she unraveling and losing her mind because her marriage sucks? If that's not Gothic, I don't know what is. This shit is Gothic as fuck. Tell me what you think. Questionable recommendation. Mary is my girl. Mary is my favorite final girl. I'm also Mary's ride or die. Mary is losing her mind. This book is basically like menopause, but make it demonic. You know what I mean? This book is so good. I think the reason I threw it on the list here is because it is modern. Yes, it's written by a man, but he did a damn good job. Shout out Nat Cassidy for writing a woman's perspective very well, in my opinion. This book is about roles and pressures applied to a woman and what they make her do. And there's like the inner dread. There's also a lot of other shit going on in this book, honestly. Just read this book. This book's crazy. There's cults. Really, really good book. Honestly, this is a 5-star book. Obviously, I can't think of all the books I read, but this might be top 5 best books I read this year. All right. So that's my feminine Gothic. Don't come for me. I know some of them are questionable. Listen, this is a loose interpretation of like what I think is Gothic. So again, I am not an academic scholar. Okay. This is Hot Girl Horror 101. Okay. This is more like academic bimbo than it is like legit university. Okay. So let's get into, I'm all over the place. The last list of books I have is my priority TBR. The other thing is that this video is not meant to be pro one or the other. I think there is a place for either. Okay, so if you are mostly leaning to the feminine Gothic, great. If you love that like traditional Gothic hauntings and curses, great. I love both as well. I think there's a place and a time for both. The last few that I have in here, some are more traditional, some are more feminine. Let's get into it. First I have on here is Mexican Gothic, which is a book that's been on my TBR for 150 million years. I can't believe I haven't read it yet. I think it is a very traditional Gothic story, but it has that twist, that feminine perspective. She's also a badass. I did hear she's a badass. I think that's why I'm really drawn to it. Like I love a good badass female main character. I might be wrong. Whoever told me that might be lying or might not really understand what a badass woman is. I don't really care. I want to read the book. Okay. The next three I don't actually own copies of, so I'm just going to go over those. Mysteries of Udolpho by Anne Radcliffe. Realistically, I don't really know anything about this book at all. I need to put some respect on Anne Radcliffe's name. That's why this book is on here, because she was out here competing with the early male authors of the genre. And so we gotta see what she's all about. I don't really know. Is it more feminine? Is it more traditional? Probably more traditional just due to the time, but I'm curious. I'm interested. Next is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I think that's how you say her name. This one I have heard a lot of really good things about. My close friend Kelsey, who her and I have very similar tastes in books, she recommended it. She said she loved it when she was younger. And from what I know, this one is basically about a new bride who the dead wife is around haunting some shit. I don't know. I want to read it. Okay. The next one I feel like I'm gonna get judged for. I have not read Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. So it is on the list. We're going to read it before we see the movie because I want to be on the right side of history. I want to be able to have the right opinion about it. Like it's not possible to have the same opinion about a book if you watch the movie first or vice versa. Like I want to have the book opinion first. Does that even make sense? I don't fucking know, but that's how I feel. Toxic Lovers. Yeah, I'm all for that. And then the last one we have talked about in prior videos. This was on my 10 before the end. And that is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. I have a sister. I love stories about sisters. From what I know about this one, it is about sisters. It's about family secrets, poison. The little girl's obsessed with poison. I don't think she's a little girl, actually. I think she's like 18. So I made that up. It's considered modern because Shirley Jackson, you know, it's not from the 1700s, but I don't, you know, still a classic, I think. That's the last one I have on the list. So did I miss anything? Did I miss any like key stories? Like, are you like, Eden, how dare you release a list of book recommendations on Gothic literature without including these? Like, please yell at me in the comments. You can even type it in all caps. I won't even be mad. I don't know. Do it. I dare you. See what happens. All right. Well, that's all I've got for you. If you like this breakdown, please hit subscribe, let me know in the comments. I would love to know what topics you want me to do a deep dive into. I'm even totally down to do things that I'm super not interested in because I, again, just want to learn about horror. I want to understand things. So if we want to talk about body horror or, you know, haunted motherhood or feminine rage, I will talk about feminine rage till the cows come home. Okay, the Minnesota just came out of me there for a minute. Till the cows come home. Who do I think I am? I'll see you in the next episode. Okay, love you. Bye.